See, now I know how to seamlessly get into this podcast. We've gone too far. I've already sipped my beverage, and now it's what? The holidays. It's part 2, right? This is the second movie that we have both consumed. And how many holiday movies do you normally watch in a season?
Do we count all of the Harry Potters?
No? Are you saying Harry Potter is a holiday movie?
Are you saying it's not?
I'm saying there's 9. Isn't there like 9 movies or 8 movies?
It is a Thanksgiving to Christmas movie, and if people can go to bat for Die Hard, you can go to bat for Harry Potter. I think they celebrate Christmas in all but like 2 or 3 of those movies. They celebrate some form of holiday.
I'd be willing to concede that to Thanksgiving, but I don't know if I can. Maybe like an individual one where they do Christmas in it or something. I don't know. I don't know if I can give
franchise every year this time of year. Every time.
Robert Pattinson dies in one of those movies, and you're telling me that's a holiday tradition for you?
Professor Snape dies in Die Hard.
All right, that's unrelated. I'm not advocating for Die Hard. All right, I'm just fighting against Harry Potter. But maybe that's something we'll have to throw up and see if anybody wants to chime in on that. But
I'm just
there's so many damn movies.
No, everyone watching and listening, you let us know at either the Movie Propcast. What are we on?
At Twitter? Movie Propcast on Instagram, TikTok, wherever. On That's YouTube, easy. You can find us. The Movie Propcast on YouTube. You can find us on there. I think they're doing handles now on YouTube, so I think we're at Movie Propcast on YouTube now as well. So, yeah, I think they moved to handles, so that's pretty sweet. So yeah, you can find us across the board at Movie Propcast. Chime in, comment on this video. You can watch the full video. Huh?
Movie Propcast.
I think it's just at Movie Propcast. I think I omitted the. I think a lot of people just don't like the, right? The is overrated. The. No one likes the.
You let us know, is Harry Potter a holiday movie? I'm not saying specifically Christmas or Thanksgiving. I'm saying it's a holiday movie. It just makes you feel, at least the first 4, make you feel the holiday spirit.
I think that's pretty vague. Would you consider Valentine's Day a holiday?
Yes.
So The Notebook's a holiday movie.
Yes, but okay. I'm specifically talking about a Thanksgiving to Christmas holiday. I'm not talking about an Easter movie.
Sorry,
I'm talking about.
I'm getting sidetracked here, but you know what is a holiday movie for sure?
What?
It's Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
What does that have to do with anything?
That's literally the reason why people hit play. They wanted to hear us talk about this film.
Oh, okay, I got sidetracked. I apologize.
We can listen, we'll get to the Harry Potters, all right? That's going to be a 2023 thing, all right? Let's dive into the Harry Potters next year. But for right now, let's wrap up the holiday season. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. We did Home Alone 1 last year. One of our biggest episodes. Obviously, these movies, especially people in our age range, it's the sweet spot. These are like, you grew up with these movies. Not just holidays. Like, these are just awesome movies. Like, they're just fun movies. Kids win, and we were kids at one point, from what I'm told.
I'm still a kid.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, never lose that. Never lose that. Don't let the heartaches of life bring you down.
That was. I'm going back now. What went number 1 overall for Home Alone?
It was me.
You took the Michael Jordan cutout, number 1.
No, I didn't.
Really?
No, I took the VHS. The VHS. You took
that
movie.
number 1?
Yes, remember? I told you why that happened. I gave a whole spiel. You were in the episode.
No, I was there. I know you took it, but I ranked the Michael Jordan cutout 1. No, because you definitely took that. I don't know why.
I did. I think I did take it at one point. But here's the thing: what happened last year? I had to give the explanation of that, but we both went into Home Alone 1 thinking it was loaded. Right? We're like, oh, these are some great stuff, and then we came out of it and we're like, oh no, they were all in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, and here we are finally following it up, because now we can get into the good stuff, because there is some gems in here that I only associate with Home Alone.
I will admit, this might be the first time I'll go down admitting I'm upset I don't have the number 1 pick.
I went into this and I was like, it didn't take long for me to be like, oh yeah, I forgot that was here. So yeah,
what? You
No, I didn't
forgot?
forget. I didn't forget. It was just wasn't top of mind. There were a lot of other things that I was thinking about ahead of it, and then I was like, oh wait, no. We're gonna get to the draft in a little bit. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the movie. Let's talk about. A lot of people like to argue what movies like franchises and trilogies or whatever they are. This is technically there's more than 2 Home Alones, but in our heads.
Six. I
In our
think.
heads, there's really not. Let's be honest. It's 1 and 2, and then
I count
maybe
3.
if you were
I
on
count
the
3.
fringe, you could count 3. I was on the fringe of that one. I think I let that one go.
I count
It's
3.
okay.
He started
Well,
using technology.
that is pretty cool, but it also wasn't Macaulay Culkin. But it also would be
I
really weird for this to happen 3 times. It's super weird for it to happen twice.
Twice, yeah. They tied that
Uh,
in pretty well. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was wondering how they were gonna get there, and having Harry and Marv like escape to New York, and then just see him walking down the street, like that was pretty nice. Because I've had moments like that. Like I remember one time in middle school or high school, I lived in New York. I was in Baltimore, and I was walking outside the baseball field, and me and my family were walking down the street, and a girl from school was just walking down the street past me. Like we crossed paths like a movie. I'm like, what are you
Whoa.
doing in Maryland right now? Like, why are you here? So
That's crazy. Yeah.
yeah, so like that Home Alone thing is actually kind of believable that they would just be like, wait, that's that little brat. So
It's
that was
kind of
good.
believable, right? But it's also on the other hand, I mean, we already know they're really, really dumb criminals, right? They're like the
Yes.
worst criminals of all time. Why would you go to like one of the most populated cities on the planet where everybody could
Money.
identify you?
Money. This is the 90s. They weren't big criminals. They were like little cat burglars. No one cared about them that much.
Yeah. All right, that's but they're on the front page of newspapers though.
In Chicago,
Chicago's a small town. I'm just
no, but I don't think anyone in New York is gonna be like, wait a minute, those are the Wet Bandits. They robbed 3 houses in Chicago last
That's
year.
fair. That's fair. The internet's not running rampant. They weren't
No.
like a meme or anything, that they could be identified by. But
Like this is still a time that you could run from security to the front gate of the airport in literally what was it, like 10 minutes?
that
That they had that
was
in?
very strange, right? That was a very weird, just to see the inside of an airport. Obviously, airports look like that. They're super chaotic. But to see an entire family run to a gate and just throw like their papers around, like what? It's so weird. That was such a weird experience.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, I'm
It,
going on the plane.
like seeing Kevin just talk his way onto the plane in New York. He was like, "Yeah, my parents are on." And she was like, "Where's your ticket?" And he's like, "Somewhere in this bundle." And the guy was like, "All right, kid, we're going to trust you. Go
Yeah,
straight to your parents." No.
I know.
No.
I don't
Like
know that would have ever happened. I think that I'm not obviously wasn't in 1992. This movie came out, so like if I wasn't watching it as at age 2, trying to figure out what's going on, but I did. I have seen this movie a lot when I was a kid. I never questioned that, but as an adult, I think even in 1992, by their standards, people were watching it going, "Okay, that would never happen." Like there's still
yeah.
it's still a child on a flight. At some point, humanity kicks in. I know that she walked him onto the plane and was like, he pointed and was like, "That's my daddy-o." That's when she takes the extra step to confirm, walk him to the parent and be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, what?" I don't know. It was a really weird situation.
Kevin's So early on, I had a note written down because obviously this movie started with like family trouble as it always does. I had a note
Hmm.
written down that said, "At what point are the parents going to realize maybe Kevin's not the problem? Like Kevin keeps getting in trouble, all this stuff. When are you going to realize, oh, maybe we're the problem? Like we have to look at things." Then the airport scene happened, and
Oh,
Kevin stopped to put the batteries in, and then all that subsequent stuff happened. I immediately X'd that out and said, okay, maybe Kevin's the problem too.
okay. It
'Cause-
is really dumb of him to just stop in the middle of it. Like, what are you using that for in that
oh, his
particular
dad
moment?
though.
But
Yeah.
the dumbest part is if my kid, if I'm running and this is your direct kid. This isn't like a niece or nephew.
Yes.
Like this isn't like you know what I mean. It's not a secondary character here. This is you made this human being.
Yes.
You're in the back. I'm in the back. I'm in the back of the line, and I'm making sure everybody is in front of me.
His
What
dad
is
took
that?
off. His dad was gone.
He's like,
His,
"Meh,
his
whatever."
dad dusted him.
Yeah.
He's
And also
like,
the
"Catch up."
mom, they tried really, really hard to make it like, oh, the parents kind of care. The mom was like, I got to make sure everybody's on. And then the lady that works there is like, oh, don't worry. Everybody's going to be accounted for. And she just takes that and it's like, yeah, okay.
What? Yeah, don't worry, man. We'll make sure everyone gets on. He doesn't
Okay.
know who everyone is.
Yeah.
How
What?
do you
Yeah.
trust him with that? He
I don't
has
know,
no
man.
idea who everyone is.
We're
That
at
got
no
me.
point are we trying to make an excuse for the mom. She's dumb. The parents are dumb.
Yeah,
Actually, everybody is in the family
everyone.
is pretty much dumb.
I
Specific. Also,
I
the uncle.
don't.
The
Uncle
uncle, your
Frank.
boy.
Doyle and I don't talk before we do this podcast at all. I had to take a moment to say Uncle Frank is still the worst character I've ever written. Like non-murderer, non-serial killer, non-homicidal character in the history of movies. Uncle Frank is. He outright said, "Don't ruin this vacation for me. Your dad paid good money for it."
I love that he got called a cheapskate by the 10-year-old too. That's hilarious. He just called him
Kevin
out. Yeah.
Kevin roasted everybody in this film, and
I
I
loved it.
loved it. He
Yeah. And they all deserved it. Yeah.
yeah, he gave everyone exactly what they deserved, and it was amazing. I
So a
loved
couple
it.
things leading up to the flight, or before they wind up leaving. Obviously, they keep. I don't understand how no one else sets an alarm. There's only everyone relies on one alarm in the house. That's really stupid.
Yes.
The giving the tickets out in the van ahead of time. Why? Why?
I mean, what I like the tease they did because they were like, "Oh no, where's Kevin?" And he's in the
And he
front
was
seat the
there.
whole time.
Good.
Yeah,
So then
I
there,
like that.
as somebody who has lost your child once before,
Yes.
that shouldn't take your foot off the gas of the give a shit. You know what I mean? Like you should still. They're like, oh, he's in the car now. That's it. We've
Well,
made it one step farther than
I was
last
gonna-
year. What?
Yes, I was gonna say, like last year he didn't even make the van. This year he
Yeah.
made the van. We're in the clear.
We did
No,
it. We're good parents.
There's still step like point B to C now. Like that was A to B good. He made it 10 steps to the van. Now you have to make it from the van to the flight. Like
Yeah.
you got.
So
man.
yeah, they obviously get split up. Some guy who looks exactly like his father diverts him. He goes on the plane, whatever they get, and he winds up in New York. I love how it's a 10-year-old in New York, and like again, he's crazy good with like making up excuses.
He's a great liar. He's really
Unbelievably good at lying.
Yeah.
He's got a future doing something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what is he
What
growing up as? What is not Macaulay Culkin, right?
Kevin.
What is Kevin McAllister growing up? What's his job? Like, because he's really good at, he's got a set of skills, all right? A particular
Insurance
set of skills.
salesman.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm just, yeah, he can
Lawyer.
lie. He can lie.
Lawyer.
Lawyer's obvious, but think of all the traps and stuff he sets. This man's built different, all right? He's, I don't know. I'm thinking like a hitman. Like, he's like,
A
I don't
hitman
know.
with only home equipment.
just saying.
He
There's a
just sets
special
up
for that.
accidents. So so he's a hitman, but he only sets up home accidents.
He's somebody. Is there somebody's job? I know there's like obviously there's an insurance person, right? But like, what's the opposite of that? What's somebody that like causes accidents, like to exploit insurance? Because I feel like there's a market for that, and he could be really good at it.
Okay, so you're mixing like freaking Nightcrawler with I don't even know what.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is, but no, it's just I'm trying to imagine him as an adult, like if we ever went back and said true Home Alone 3, right? You said there's 6. I can't believe that's crazy, but I'm just saying a Macaulay Culkin comes back to Home Alone the franchise. He's an adult. What does that look like? That's like an interesting thought.
I think they take a more serious tone, like The Purge, and he's an adult. He's an adult, and he has to fight off a group of people like The Purge.
Wait, so you're saying he's still? You're just
he's
wiping away the
home.
whole premise. Okay.
He's home. His family, let's say his family goes on vacation somewhere. He's home alone again, and then The Purge happens in Chicago, and then Macaulay Culkin has to fight off.
So
Soren
you're
people.
saying you want Macaulay Culkin in just like a murder fest?
Yeah.
Like, so basically, like let's just pretend John Wick 1 is Kevin McAllister.
How about this? It's literally this movie, but they actually kill people when they're supposed to die. Because Marv died.
They're dead, bro. They're both dead, and they were dead. They were dead in Home Alone 1. They were dead there too, but they're super dead in this one. They took it another level.
Marv died 10 minutes after their first meeting. Like 3 lines in, Marv is dead. 4
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. It's I think that's part of the fun, obviously, is just seeing slapstick, like extremely cartoonish ways to basically kill people, but they never die.
I've
Yeah.
got it. Sorry.
Okay.
Kevin versus his son. So his son starts setting traps for Kevin, and they kind of have like a back and forth.
Take it to Hollywood. All right. Write the
I
script.
I want to see Kevin versus his son because I have a feeling Kevin's son could get up to some dastardly stuff.
But
with
why
tech.
would he like to the point to this degree where he's like trying
No,
to kill the guy?
no. They're
That had
not
to be a
trying to
weird.
maim each other.
Okay, just holiday
Yeah,
pranks,
shenanigans.
and then they stumble into actual crime, and then they decide to take that into themselves
Yeah.
together.
Oh, there we have to write.
So the
that
movie's
down.
called Home Alone Together. Whoa.
What? Let's go.
All right, TM. We've already it's already been we have it. Yeah, it's already in the works. So no one else try it. Anyway, we should move on.
Real quick before we get into New York, 2 things that I like that they called back. Or well, one thing they called back. Kieran Culkin, his little brother, is still a bedwetter, and Uncle
Hilarious.
Frank, he took his Pepsi away, and he was like, "No," or his Coke. Oh, that was a little thing about this movie. Last movie was all Pepsi. This movie was all Coke.
Hey, whoever's giving the paycheck.
But his brother's still a bedwetter. That was great. Why was everyone searching for their stuff not in their room? Like everyone's stuff is all over the house apparently. So they're like running, "Where's my brush?" And you're running from your room to downstairs. Why isn't it in the bathroom or in your room?
Yeah, that's strange. Yeah, I don't really understand. I never. Obviously, you think after the year before you'd understand how to get together for a trip. I did think once they actually got to their destinations. Obviously, New York City's New York City, but when they went to Florida, the depiction
Yes.
of Florida is hilarious. It's just nonstop rain, thunderstorms, and I not once did you see the sun. It was just only nighttime when they were showing
Yes.
Florida, which I thought was kind of funny.
Which is funny. If you're see, people not from Florida would probably have found that funny and be like, "Ha ha ha." People from Florida would have been like, "Ooh, that's actually kind of accurate." Because
Yeah, it's like
growing up in New York, Florida was always like Disney and the Sunshine State. After living there, it's still beautiful, but it does rain a lot, and it could be a bit much sometimes.
I don't. Yeah, I'm trying not to run through the whole movie. Obviously, there's a lot we're going to get into when we get into the part of the prop draft that we're going to talk about specifically because there's a lot of stuff that sees screen time. I'm the toy store in New York City. I don't know. Is that a real store? I don't know if that is
No.
or not. Duncan
It
Toy
looked
Store or
like
whatever.
it looked like it was their version of Oh no, I had this. The one
KB
from
Toys.
Big.
No.
No. The one from Big. It was
Okay.
there was a very big toy store, and I'm gonna get roasted for blanking out right now.
You're the New York guy. This guy's the New York guy. No, I'm just kidding.
But it's Duncan Toy Store was not the real store, but it was off of
Yeah.
FAO
Okay.
Schwartz. FAO Schwartz.
That makes sense. So they
was
didn't
what it
get.
was.
I just seemed like this movie would have done something like that, where it's like every store it just keeps its name and you're in the movie. That would be kind of nice. But either way, that toy store was pretty awesome. I'm none of those toys I think would occupy a child in this generation.
No.
There was not a distinct lack of technology. 1992, obviously you're going to get that, but there was a moment there with. I'm assuming the owner, he's Duncan. This is the Duncan guy, right? The owner where he's at the cash register. Great moment, by the way. It was a nice little exchange. Kevin McAllister's way too mature for his age. It's
beyond his years.
It's ridiculous. It's actually kind of weird. Like, it would weird me out if I had an interaction with him. I'd be like, "Excuse me, sir. I'm offended just by talking to you." But when he's walking away, what's up with like the disappearance of Duncan? What is
it was
that?
supposed to be that like mysterious thing where like it's something they did in movies where like you're secretly talking to the owner but you think he's just an employee and you impress him and stuff like that. So
But why did he disappear?
it's a trope because it would have not cheapened, but the moment would have been a little less powerful if he stayed there and he'd be like, "Hey, I'm actually the owner," and then Kevin can talk to him again after that. Like they have that moment, and they never have a moment again until Kevin writes him a letter.
Okay.
So like I feel like it was trying to just keep that whole Kevin didn't know who he was and showed who he really was, who Kevin really was, and Duncan was very impressed with who Kevin was because he wasn't trying to press Duncan. He was just being himself.
Okay.
And they both shared a very similar interest in children.
I still think it's weird.
Of course.
It was so random. And I did rewind it and I watched it again to just see how they did it. Cause I at first I thought he literally vanished, but they just knocked him out of frame and then pulled back and he was gone. But it was well done. Cause at first I literally thought he actually just vanished. Like, cause the camera didn't really move that much. So it was a nice little move for them, but it just didn't make any sense to me. But I guess you're telling me that's a thing.
If this was like a true Christmas movie, he would have like probably actually been dead and Kevin was talking to like the spirit of Christmas or something.
That's
like that.
where my head
or Santa
goes.
Claus.
That's where I think most people's head goes, where it's like, oh, it was a ghost. And then like all of a sudden we got ourselves like a supernatural movie. Like out of nowhere. But then you realize at the end it's just the owner and he was just being a weirdo. But yeah. I don't know. That moment just really stood with me for some reason. It was strange. So anything else in New York? Obviously, the Florida stuff we covered. That was it. They were in the hotel, really weird hotel. Like that was their vacation to huddle up in that weird hotel.
I love the juxtaposition. Like you have Kevin, a child by himself in New York with a luxurious room.
Yeah.
And then his family just having the worst Christmas ever, like they deserve to be perfect.
Oh, for
honest.
sure. Oh, 100%.
How do you think the minute Kevin lands in New York, my first thought is, how do they solve this in the 90s with no cell phones? Kevin's 10 years old. I don't know if his parents don't have a cell phone. The best they could do is he could call his house and like leave a voicemail, but like, or on the answering machine. How does this get solved? This is scary.
Yeah, that's 100%. Like he'd have to go to like the police and then like say who. I mean, he's 10 years old. He knows who he is. He probably knows where he lives. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's a way that they would have to contact him. But that's literally probably the only way. And to be honest, for him to go around the city for this long and not one single police officer get a little weirded out and be like, "What's up with this boy just alone in the city?" Like somebody should have stopped him, right? Like I feel like if I'm not a police officer, I would imagine that if anybody, some of New York's finest would have seen a 10-year-old just traipsing around the city, you know, it's like, "Hey, what are you doing, kid?" Question him once.
The cab drivers are driving all over New York and don't say anything.
Okay, the cab driver though at night.
Oh, I just meant in general.
Okay,
I meant
cab driver at night was like that was weird. That was a weird situation.
That was another thing. Everyone he ran into in New York, aside from the one bird lady, was a creep. Like all of the employees were essentially creeps. Like everyone he has dialogue with. Obviously, the people who's like giving money to and stuff, they're all kind people. But like almost everyone was a creep aside from Duncan and the bird lady, and even she was creepy at first.
I will say some of my favorite characters in the movie were the hotel staff. Like I freaking love Tim Curry. Tim Curry and Rob Schneider were awesome.
Great cameos.
I love Tim Curry. Yeah.
Would you even consider those like cameos in the 90s? Like,
no, that's not
Rob
a cameo.
Schneider wasn't. Yeah.
No, they were recurrent. Yeah, it wasn't just like a cameo to me is like you get one scene and you're out.
So Donald Trump.
Perhaps yes, Donald Trump. He was in there for literally a half a second and just he did have a speaking line. He did. And that was it. So yeah, that was a very strange. So the fact that somebody in this movie became president and it wasn't Macaulay Culkin was crazy to me. As a kid, I'd be like, you tell me which one's going to be the president. It's obviously the Macaulay Culkin assassinator. Well, you can't say those two things in the same sentence, I'm pretty sure. So let's just pretend I'm reeling that back now. But I'd say Macaulay Culkin for sure the most equipped to be the president of the United States. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Him or Tim Curry?
I was gonna say I'd put my money on Tim Curry. Tim Curry, I thought at first was gonna be like a good character, absolute sleazebag.
I love that though.
No, I don't know why the entire staff, because when he like reprimanded Rob Schneider for counting his tips, I was like, oh, okay, he's gonna be a respectable guy. And no.
Why was he so weirded out to see a child in his lobby?
I don't know.
Like initially, like right away, he was like, he
was disgusted.
That's a weird little boy. Yes. I don't know what that was.
Rough.
I don't know. Maybe I guess that's his style. I don't know. It's really weird. But I
It
did
was
throughout the film though. I did think like every time Tim Curry was on the screen though, like he was great. I just think the way his face was working, like he just I don't. That's definitely not his accent, but it's like I don't know. Everything just kind of worked. I just love that character, and it was really weird when he was popping in to just like what were you doing in the hotel room in that particular moment? I don't know.
I
Everybody overstepped their
love
bounds, but I thought it was
yes.
funny.
I love when Kevin burns him for that later on, where he's just like, "You're never going to see my dad again. Would you want to see a man who walked in on you naked in the
He's like,
shower?"
I suppose I wouldn't know. It's like
It's
that's
like, oh my god, it was amazing. That was Kevin was great.
the bird lady. Let's talk about
Yes.
her real quick before we get into the draft. At first, just a random bird lady in the park in the daylight. You're like, all right, that's cool, that's fine. I can believe that. Then it was the night interaction for me. That was kind of strange. Where obviously this is obviously this is the scene where Kevin's running through in the night, and it's like everybody looks really weird and scary, and like he's running into the park, and he gets his foot stuck. But the bird lady just pops up, says nothing, just stares at a child, clearly stuck, screaming his head off, right? And not
Yeah.
saying a word. And then just like the obviously it was just camera work, but the way the hand goes out and like looks like it's gonna reach for his face, and then all of a sudden she goes down. What that was such a why did they do that? They did it with the freaking guy in the first movie too, the neighbor. Why do they
So
gotta have like a scary, creepy person that just doesn't know how to interact with people, and then all of a sudden they have an amazing conversation?
I actually wrote that down. Like they just that was their plot vehicle. It was like, all right, we're gonna have a misunderstood like the Boo Radley. I maybe the director was just a really big fan of To Kill a Mockingbird,
They must
but
be.
you have the Boo Radley who everyone misunderstands, and then Kevin cracks their shell and opens them up, and then they become the savior and help him out and give him what he needs.
That's literally they just stuck to their formula. They're like, hey, let's pretend New York City is Kevin McAllister's house.
So a lot of
Same movie.
people, I read a tidbit about this was the director was afraid that people were going to consider this a straight up a reboot. They weren't going to they were afraid people weren't going to think this as Home Alone 1. So they were actually going to redo another cologne scene in the hotel, but they cut it. They filmed it and cut it because they were like people are going to consider this a reboot and not a sequel. So they
Yeah, at
tried to
some
do
you got to pick and choose
yeah.
your battle here. You can't just do everything that worked in the first one. That's stupid. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but they just felt like this movie just worked better than the first one did too.
and I will agree with that. This is a case where the sequel I think is better than the first one. I think
Yeah.
I don't know where. Yeah, I mean I don't know where you were on that, but yeah, that's I feel like 100%. This one is just more fun. It's way more over the top. There's more characters. It just feels better than the first one. Obviously, the first one laid the groundwork for this one, and it is almost the same movie, but the setting here is on a grander scale. There's a lot more going on. It's definitely a better. Like they probably wish they did this first. I mean, obviously the first one works, but you know what I mean. Like this
Yeah.
style, so they could do it another. You know what I mean? Like they probably wanted to milk it again, and I don't
Yeah.
know how much. Macaulay Culkin got paid an absurd amount of money for this movie.
Did
I think
he?
he got like
What?
paid $4.5 million as a 10-year-old to do this film. It was the
He
most.
was killing it in the 90s then.
Yeah, I think it was legit the most. I don't know if it still is today. I mean, nowadays I feel like everybody's throwing everything at everything, but I don't know what would have
Yeah.
overtaken it. But $4.5 million at 10 years old,
In
that's pretty
90s, in
good.
the
In the
90s.
90s, early 90s. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty good money from what I understand.
If just thinking of Macaulay Culkin like off the top of my head, like he was in The Good Son, Home Alone, Home Alone 2 and Richie Rich. Like just between those and I'm sure other movies I can't
Yo,
even think
Richie
of
Rich
like
was good though. I had fun
Richie
with
Rich
Richie Rich.
was
I love
I
that
had
movie.
a lot of fun with Richie Rich. Like that's crazy. I can't believe that. That's wild.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. Outside of that, I mean, I don't know if we have anything else. I mean, I want to
Oh,
get into the draft, but do you have anything before we get into it?
yes. So if we are making this a reboot and we're ignoring the first movie, the only thing I wish that was in this movie that was in the first is One Trap, the burning doorknob. That is the only thing that didn't come back. But I love seeing Harry like tap the doorknobs because he's scarred.
Yeah,
Like He
Well, and
taps
they did
every
show the scar
doorknob.
though. They did show the scar, so they did. That was a good continuity effort there to be like, oh, just make sure you put the scar back on because he did get burned pretty bad in the first one. But no,
Yeah.
they at least did that. He's still got the McAllister M on his hand, which is crazy.
Yes.
I don't. That's so dumb. Those guys, so dumb. And yeah, we're gonna get into the draft right now. I don't. Are you ready to do this? I have the first pick. I'm super excited. Let's do it. I can't remember. Oh, so I had the first pick last year too. This is funny how this works. I give you when we do Home Alone 3 next year, which I don't think we'll do. I mean, maybe.
I already
we'd
know
have
what
to be
my
pretty
first pick is
desperate.
from there too.
Yeah,
I could go into every Home Alone knowing what my first pick is already.
That's good. That's good. But you'll never have it because I have first pick. And it's funny. I don't know why I didn't. Probably should have gave you the sequel this year. But you got the Grinch the last episode. So you know, it's not.
Yeah.
You didn't get nothing.
Yeah, I'll let you win one this holiday.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I needed this. I needed this to get through the holidays. All right, so let's just go right into it. Right out the gate, it happens. You see it very early in the movie.
Dude, this movie was. I feel like this movie was made strictly to advertise one product.
And it's the Talk Boy, right?
Yeah,
the Talk
100%.
Boy is the most versatile piece of technology the 90s have ever seen.
From the first 40 seconds in, Kevin doesn't even have lines. The Talk Boy has his first like 3 lines.
Yeah, they probably paid a lot of money for that. What was that? T. What's the T? What is that? What was the Talk Boy something that made it? What was the brand? It's something with the T.
They didn't.
Oh no, is it Hasbro? Oh no, it was Tiger. It was Tiger.
Tiger, yes.
Tiger Electronics, and then it became Hasbro at some point. But yeah, that I never always wanted one as a kid. I feel like that's something that I just never could obtain. Like I never knew how to. I don't even think I've ever even saw it in the stores.
So I didn't have a Talk Boy, but when I was younger, because the Talk Boy looked like it was a little older. When I was younger, I had this. It was white with a handle, and it had a red microphone, and you could put a cassette in it, and you could speak into it, and it had a loudspeaker, but it was for like 4 to 6 year olds.
Oh, okay. So you had a baby toy.
Kind of. I had like a baby Talk Boy, and it was bigger. Like it was.
Did you
It was about
did you ever have like one of those small like remote size things that was called like a yak back?
I don't think I remember. I remember the word yak back. I remember the. I
believe that's what it was. Now oh my God, I'm looking at it right now. These things are amazing.
I think I actually had a yak back.
I feel like I must buy one of these.
Why?
Just out of nostalgia alone.
I had the blue yak back.
So look, I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to share the screen right now. You can see it if you want to watch it. We do record the full video podcast. It's on our YouTube channel right now. These are yak backs, dude. I had one. I had like 3 of these. These things were awesome.
I think I had the orange one with like the music button on it. Yeah, if you on the left side, like the top in the 3rd row down. I think I had one of. Yep.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I had one of those in one of the.
That's
colors.
A yak back sound effects.
Sound effects.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. You were rich, man. I just had the regular one that just says "say" and "play" on it. But no, these things are awesome for some reason, and I think it's literally the same. Literally the same concept, right? But obviously the Talk Boy does a lot more, but that's pretty sweet.
For me, when I looked up Yak Back, the 4th picture down was Macaulay Culkin with a freaking Talk Boy.
Yeah, it's similar. It's same concept. But anyway, first overall pick, I'm taking the Talk Boy. Awesome piece of technology, and yeah, that's definitely to me probably the most iconic out of the film.
I mean, you win. It's fine.
No, but there's still some really cool stuff.
No,
but that's a pretty heavy. That's a top heavy draft.
Yeah, from a magnitude of that pick, like I would have to take like 4 items to match that one item.
It's like picking the Notebook in the movie The Notebook. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, or Jumanji in the movie Jumanji, which we've done. It's pretty obvious. Even though this toy is not called the Home Alone 2 Lost in New York. It's called a Talk Boy.
We alluded to it going into Home Alone 1 before the movie started. I typed in Talk Boy.
Yeah,
and then the movie started, and I was like, "Oh
not
no,
once.
Where's the Talk Boy?"
Yeah.
I was so upset.
Well, here it is, and it's now mine. And you're on the clock there, champ. Good luck.
I'm not. I still got to talk about the Talk Boy because.
Oh yeah, no, keep going.
He fit so much onto that one cassette. He didn't flip it over.
That's absurd. Yeah.
he fit all of his lines. He fit his uncle singing, and he always knew the place too. Like he always knew
That's the
where to
most
stop it.
impressive thing is like how did like that was the toughest thing with cassettes back in the day is like trying to find it. But this man was like instant. He was having full conversation. Oh no, that was a TV thing. But still,
Yeah.
the song, which I feel like he left the bathroom earlier than that thing. You know what I mean? Like he got a
Yeah.
little more than I don't know. There's a little thing
The
there that I didn't
clarity of it
understand.
too.
Oh, it was
The clarity.
incredible, incredible.
It was like his uncle was right next to the freaking
I want
microphone.
to get
You
one.
know,
I want to
he's
get one and try it and just listen to how bad you wouldn't even hear it over the shower. Like it
no.
was- yeah, that's
All
hilarious.
right. All right. I'll let that go. All right. Second
Oh, they're
pick.
sorry, they're crazy
What?
expensive right now. They're like $200, $300 on eBay. I looked it up. I wanted to
I'll
see.
use my cell phone. It's okay.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that works.
Nostalgia. I mean, it only goes so far for me.
Okay, all right.
So there's two things I think of in this movie. I don't know why the second thing is sticking out to me. Talk Boy is number one. The second one was another. I don't even know if I want to call it a plot device, but it got screen time. It was brought back. It was a symbol. I'm gonna go with the turtle doves ornament.
Ooh, that's good. That's a
I'm
good
gonna go with
one.
the turtle doves. He got them
So
from Duncan. He gave one to
yeah.
his bird lady friend because it meant they'd be friends forever. They were on screen at least like 2 or 3 times. So I'm gonna go with the turtle doves.
So that's a really good one. Obviously, especially towards the end of the movie, there's that sentimental moment with does she have a name or are we just calling her Bird Lady?
I
I
mean,
don't
I
know if
was
she's
just calling her
in
bird
this
lady.
movie. I should look her up in this and make sure. It's just Pigeon Lady. She's
There you
that's
go.
what she's in. Yeah, this is it. Like on the IMDb page, she's Pigeon Lady, which is great. Tim Curry doesn't even have a name in this movie. He's just concierge.
He does. It's in the trivia section. I
Oh,
saw it in the
I
trivia
just
section, and I
I
forgot to
know
write it
Schneider
down.
has one. I don't remember what it was already, but Rob Schneider had a name because he kept being obviously Tim Curry was calling him by the name, but yeah, Pigeon Lady. They had a moment at the end with the turtle doves. Obviously, somebody saves your life. Yeah, sure, we can be friends for life. You know what I mean? That's
His
towards the end of the film.
his name was Mr. Hector.
Oh, weird.
Yes.
I don't remember him being called that at
I
any
don't
point.
either, but
Yeah. All right. That's fair. So no, Turtle Doves is a good one. Obviously sentimental. It means a lot to the movie, to the main character, and it's two of the the deepest conversations happened with obviously Kevin and Duncan in the toy store when he received them, and then Kevin with Pigeon Lady at the end. Disrespectful, man. Find her name. At the end of the movie, nice little beautiful moment where he actually leaves his family again
yeah,
unannounced.
to run to
Who's
Central Park.
taking their eyes off of this kid? I'm handcuffing him to me. Like,
Yes.
that's it. You're on a leash the rest of your life. But nope, he slips away again. And then the next time you hear his parents, they're yelling at him. Like, what are the. Okay.
Well, actually, so real quick sidebar, the reason they're yelling at him, I looked this up. So the bill at the end for
Yeah.
Kevin's room service, $967 in room service in 1992.
Doesn't seem
Do
like a
you-
lot.
Okay, so what do you think that is in 2022?
Negligible compared to
No.
the man that can fly 14 people overseas.
Give me a number.
What was the number? 900 something?
967 in 1992.
I don't know. It's probably like $4,200. Too
Oh
much.
wow, you think it was
Oh,
2054.
You made it sound like it was this crazy thing. I mean, it's still crazy. That's a lot of money.
$2,000 in
I would pay
that's in room
$2,000.
service.
I would pay $2,000 to get the service this man had. He had somebody next to his bed scooping ice cream. All right.
I'm not spending $2,000 for ice cream and pizza. That's absurd.
You're not living, bro. You're not living.
I'm not.
Still
I'd
though.
be in that Florida hotel room.
Still, this dude just flew his entire family down to Florida for the holidays. $900. I don't think it's gonna kill him. All right. I don't know. To me, he's got an absurd amount of money. They have that house. They got all that stuff. I just think that's not really that big of a deal. Not enough to yell at your kid that you've lost for the second time in one calendar year. No? Seems pretty fair. All right. I'm gonna move on to the third. Let me cross off Turtle Doves because obviously that's a good one. This is when I'm confused, right? Because I don't know where you're gonna go. There's one that I really, really, really want, and when I think of this movie, it's like one of the first things I see.
Okay.
And there's another one that I think is probably less identifiable, but does probably mean more to the movie. I feel like I almost have to take the one that I identify because it's me. I mean, I'm picking this, right? It's not about you guys. It's not about anybody else. I'm not trying to win a contest. I'm gonna go with. Let me read it. Marv's skeleton.
Dude, that was yes. The minute that happened, the minute I wrote that down, I immediately had to Google if there was any place that was auctioning that off. I had to
He
look.
died. This man died and kept his facial hair. That's amazing. That's hilarious.
It was the 7th pick for me. I'll admit it was down there.
No, I'm taking it. I'm getting my guy.
That's you have it, and it has like the white beard and the white hair.
He still has the hair and the beard. Yes. This man evaporated to bone and hair.
That scene was crazy. Oh, like Marv. I want to take a side to say Daniel Stern as Marv. Was probably I lost it at the end when the birds are pecking at them and they're both upset. Like, yeah, they're both upset. But then for some reason, like 10 seconds in, as if it's a delayed effect, Marv just screams at the top of his lungs.
I wonder if that was like improvised at first. And he was like, they stopped him and were like, no, do that. I didn't know you could hit that octave.
It was delayed, like they're getting pecked at for like 20 seconds, and then out of nowhere, Marv is like, "Oh wait, I'm dying," and then just scream.
It's just birds eating food off of you. You're not like, dying. Like it's just I thought that was. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Marv made this movie for me. Like anytime that I almost like lost it, it was always because Marv was on screen.
He's so much better than not. Obviously, it's Joe freaking Pesci. Like Joe Pesci is huge.
Yes,
but. What's happening to them in this movie, he's so much better. It's like he's just so much more animated. It's hilarious. And there were like I remember scenes when I was watching this movie that especially when I was young where I was literally crying as a kid how funny this stupid stuff was. Like I think it was like the doorstep staple gun stuff the sound effects that they used in that moment where it turns and it's like click. Like you hear everything and then he's like, oh, like that, just those 3 sounds next to each other. If you just played them randomly, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's when he gets shot in like the penis with the staple gun. But no, Marv's amazing in this movie.
Marv took 4 bricks to the forehead to start this movie. Why isn't
dead? His brain is mush.
Like his skull is cracked, he has a hematoma, he's dead. Like that's it. Subdural hematoma. Marv is dead. he walks up to the building, and Harry's solo after the rest of this movie. Like that's it.
It's hilarious.
Ridiculous.
That's what's so fun about this movie, though. Is like they're way over the top. Like freaking, I don't know. Harry explodes. Like his head explodes. He's dead. His head. He's dead.
The entire 3rd floor.
Dude, dead.
His head's on fire. He dunks it in gasoline. Entire 3rd floor just goes.
And then he comes back and he doesn't have any burns. It's just my beanie. My little beanie cap got singed. No, that's
again his poor beanie cap again. Because
I want somebody to just make a real life version of this. Like it's still got the funny slapstick, but they're fighting through the wounds that they actually would have received.
Yes,
that would be a darker comedy, I think. Where
I just can't. Yeah. I can't believe Marv died like 3 times.
He actually became a skeleton.
A skeleton.
And that's again another scream. His screams are incredible. Anyway, I had to pick the skeleton because it's the talk boy. But honestly, when we were talking about it last year too, it was like I couldn't remember if he got electrocuted in the first one or the second one. But I knew as soon as I had the opportunity, I was taking those bones, bro. Because it's hilarious.
A small detail for me, after he slides into the paint containers and his eyes are all closed, one, he opens his mouth is covered in paint. I don't know
what he committed to the bit.
Yeah,
that was
his tongue covered in white stuff. I don't know as an actor if I do that. His eyes were bloodshot after that scene. If you go back and look, it looks like they just I don't know if maybe it really got in his eyes, but his eyes were bloodshot. It
I
was
love that. That's that attention to detail that we deserve. You know, when we're watching a children's, what is this? A children? I don't a comedy. I don't know what this is. It's not really a children's movie. I mean, there's some swearing in it. There's some stuff, but yeah, it's a very strange category of film.
It is. My pick. There's a lot of good stuff here. I'm not gonna sigh only because I'm not concerned. I
heard you. It was an inaudible sigh. That pause was all I needed to hear.
No, it's contemplation because I could just straight up rob you.
Oh, that's fine.
And that it'd be a little mean, but then I'm not getting what I think I really want. Like I could do a spiteful pick, or I could just take what I actually want.
Okay.
But I'm gonna take what I actually want. I'm gonna take the Operation Ho 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 battle plans.
Okay. That's it. I think you got the battle plans last year too.
And they're going up right next to each. They're going up next to each other. I'm gonna take the Operation, and I paused it. It said he had the paint cans. It said Operation Ho Ho Ho.
Right.
I'm taking the battle plans.
This is again. If we talked about it last year on Home Alone 1. When did he have the time to do this? Even more so than last year, right? He was on the clock, like on a timer. He was also on a timer this year too, but like he was in an unfamiliar building.
Yes.
How?
He ran
Where
back
did the crayons?
He ran back to the house at 9:00. Yeah. Like I paused it because the bell rang. It was at 9:00. You're not telling me that he had multiple hours for this. Like this didn't happen at like 11. I wish they did a second spot where you could see what the time was.
Well, at midnight was when they were in the toy store. So he set all that up before midnight. They were robbing the toy store at midnight.
So he had 3 hours.
Yeah.
So
but then you got to think travel though. Like he probably realistically had 2
hours to set up all of that. Where did he get the kerosene?
Not just set it up. Draw that battle plan like that.
Draw the battle plans. Where do you get the It would have taken me an hour alone to set up the kerosene rope. To set up I couldn't even set up the podium that he had on the rocks, the pedestal, the cement, like the 3 paint cans with the big column. An hour to do that. To do that.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. He's superhuman. That's what I'm telling you. He's built different. This kid is built different, and we need to recognize Kevin McAllister. He's got to be like I want to see a follow up to him. It doesn't even have to be Home Alone. I just want to see like Jack Reacher, but like it's Kevin McAllister.
So there was something called like Driver, like DRYVR. Yeah, DRYVRS, Drivers. Macaulay Culkin apparently brings the Kevin McAllister character back or something like that.
Right, but I want to see him like as like an assault human being, like just like an unstoppable machine of death. I just feel like that fits the MO for Kevin McAllister, especially with all the childhood trauma he went through. There's no way he doesn't grow up and just be like a destroyer.
The thing is, we're like glorifying him. What if he turns into like a really terrible person?
Oh, like Oh, it's 100% possible. Like there's a definite, that's probably more likely.
Yeah, he has a terrible home life. He is really good at killing people at 10. Like it doesn't.
Nobody really died, but every single act that he did would have resulted in death.
Every single trap he made would have killed a person.
Okay, so you have Operation Ho Ho Ho.
Yes.
I have one more pick. And man, I wasn't all in on that because I felt like that was something they could have omitted. I feel like he didn't need to have another battle plan. Like it worked in the beginning because he knew his house. I think it worked a little less in the sequel for unfamiliar territory and the time restraints. Where did he find writing utensils in that house? That house was obliterated. What they said it would. I think there's being renovations done. Would that house was livable?
Yeah, at one point? I had the exact same thought. Like they're like, aren't they in Paris because their house is getting renovated?
That's not a renovation.
No, that is a house that was in shambles.
Yeah, they must have been hoarders and like legally had to leave the country. Like I don't know what that was. But anyway, sorry. I'll get back to my list here. there's okay. So there's 3 here that I'm into, and I know we're gonna have leftovers because we're only going 3 apiece. So
Yeah.
I think
We're both getting a good third pick, I think.
I feel obligated. This is another one that probably isn't on your list. But I feel obligated to take this one based on my draft last year.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with Angels with Even Filthier Souls, the VHS.
I was going to steal that. I was 100% going to steal that.
That's the one? Okay.
That was the one.
Because they do it again. They do it again.
I even looked it up. I wanted to know if they actually made a I don't think there's a physical the last one had a physical VHS. This one had the box. I know for a fact they had the
that's all I needed. That's fine.
I don't know if they made a physical, because in the first movie you could like take it and play it and stuff. I don't know if they did that for this one.
Give me the box and I'll put it on a VHS. I feel like in 1992 they probably did that to get it on the screen. You know what I mean? They probably, I'm assuming they had to do that, right, to get on the screen.
I forgot.
You thought that was CGI? No.
Yeah, I forgot.
They just put the thumb drive in. No, for sure. So I'm taking that. Obviously, I picked it first overall last year, and then I a year's savvy, I learned to now let it wait a little bit. You weren't as high on the pick last year.
I was going to steal it from you this year.
Okay, that's fair.
Like I said, I'm either going to take what I want or I'm going to be spiteful. I decided it's
being
Christmas.
Cheerful, and it's Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's Christmas, so I let you get it.
So it's only fair. You get your 2 battle plans, and I get my 2 VHS movies, which again, they're hilarious, and the scenes that they're used in. I don't know. Again, the sound quality coming out of the TV apparently is realistic. I don't know how it's believable by these hotel staff, but
you're smooching everyone, even Cliff.
And then he happens to be in the line.
And Cliff is like, no,
not me.
No, it's not true.
So this tape, this clip that they replay has one of my favorite lines to just say randomly, and I don't know why. It stuck with me, and I do it all the time. And Nikki, I do it to Nikki more than anybody because he knows what I'm doing, and it's like he appreciates it. But there's an intro line that's in there when he pulls out the gun, right? He's like, I believe you, but my Tommy gun don't. And I don't know why that's like, that stuck with me. So like anytime somebody says something, he's like, man, I believe you, but my Tommy gun don't. And I just say it, and it's like only Nikki, it seems like in these scenarios, is like laughing because it's like he recognizes it. But I feel like you say it to anybody and you'll be like, what was that from? That was from something. But then again, it is another clip from a fake movie that they made to kind of reflect, obviously, movies of that time. But it was like I don't know. It's like satire. It's like they did it. It's fake. It's satire within a movie. It doesn't make any sense. Like it's literally they made those clips to be in a movie only, and they were never released. I think that's still really cool.
What blows my mind when I was looking up like tips about this movie, they had people like legitimately audition for those specific roles. Like you had to audition for that.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
That's get on your knees and tell me you love me.
There's a little bit of innuendo there. I was a little that threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, but either way, it's a kids movie, and it's okay to just pull the Tommy gun out and just light somebody up point blank in a room, but
with a Christmas tree right next to you.
Yeah, it's the holidays. That's what it's for. So I'm taking that VHS. I appreciate you. Thank you for letting me have that. That's your gift
welcome.
To me.
I have so many things to pick from.
Last pick, you can only get one.
I have so many things.
How will you blow this? I'm just kidding.
I mean, there's one thing that I could pick that'll just be you walk in the room and you're like, oh, I know where that's from.
Really?
Or
oh
yeah.
Okay, never mind. I have one of those too. So now I'm thinking it's probably
or I pick something that's less obvious that I just really liked. But you know what? I'm going to impress people. I'm going to take the Chicago Sun-Times cover.
That's the one.
With Wet Bandits Escape. It was either that or the New York Times. What is it? Like the they did like a New York Times one afterwards. But I
didn't see that one. I don't think I wrote that one. I just wrote the one that slaps on their door at their house. That's the Wet Bandits, which again, how the family should be you got to know that that's happening. You should be keeping tabs on these clowns that try to kill your kid.
Yes,
you got to know that that's happening. But But yeah, no, the newspaper was it was high on my list. I just didn't. It didn't. The
You don't like
pieces
single
didn't.
sheets of paper. You don't. I
I'm not
get.
a paper guy. You know me. But no, it's a good. It was. That's what I was fighting with on the last one though.
Okay.
So it was.
You
I get.
fighting with you barely fought. You immediately took the Angels of Filthier
I knew I
Souls.
had to leave with my. I had to leave with my VHS, but that was the other contender at the time. So you at least have that, but you don't have the Talk Boy. So that's it.
I said from the beginning, I knew you were winning this one.
All right,
Like
hold on.
no, no matter what three. Why are you shilling Starbucks right now? We're not.
Anybody watching the video? I just drank out of my holiday cup because it's the holidays.
All right, Stefan,
Anyway,
relax.
go ahead.
I don't care what you could have taken Talk Boy 1, given me picks 2, 3, and 4, and I still wouldn't have equaled up to your Talk Boy.
That's fair. And I probably still would have got the same picks that I would have had because you said the skeleton was pretty low on your list though too. So yeah. I mean, let's switch it in that. Let's just pretend that happened so it's easier on you. Oh no, wait, it makes it worse. Never mind. This is it. The draft is finalized. Let's run it down.
You get one good
Hey,
video.
you suck. No, I'm just kidding.
You're gloating right now.
I'm not gloating. I'm just excited about the Talk Boy. I'm
you're
pretty
loving
good.
this right now.
I'm feeling all right. I'm just it's very rare that you concede in episode. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't happen often. So let me just relish this moment.
This was one when I took the Grinch. I essentially conceded this movie when I picked Grinch.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would agree with that. Yeah, that's 100%. So all right, so let's go run it back. I picked Talk Boy 1 overall. You picked the Turtle Doves again. Fantastic pick. I picked Marv's Skeleton second round. You picked the Operation Ho Ho Ho. Pairing it with your Operation whatever the other one was. I don't remember what it was called back in the day, but it was his battle plan from Home Alone 1. So you have both. And I picked Angels with Even Filthier Souls. What a great sequel name. So it's Angels with Filthy Souls, and then Angels with Even Filthier Souls. What an amazing a set of VHS tapes to just sit on a shelf and never use. You know what I mean? It's a VHS tape.
No, I know for a fact you have those. You're watching those every Christmas. They're like 30. They're 30. They're like 2-minute sketches.
And you know that they did. You know they did more than that, right? You know they probably filled more scenes. I want to see the bloopers. Not from Home Alone 2, but from the movie that they filmed for Home Alone 2. I want to see the bloopers with the guy. It'd be hilarious. And then you picked the Wet Bandits Escaped newspaper, which is featured prominently on the movie poster. It's on the very front of the movie poster. You see in the background Empire State Building, I think that is, which we didn't even get into. He's on top of the Twin Towers in this movie. Obviously.
By himself.
That was obviously it's weird to just see the Twin Towers in general, considering everything that's happened. But to go back and be like in 1992, a 10-year-old can just wander up to the roof by himself, not another soul up there. Obviously, it's for the movie, right? They were just like, let's have him on the top of the thing. How did he get up there? How did he get up there alone?
Center. Yeah.
How did he get up there? How did he get up there alone? It's insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Newspaper. Great pick to wrap it up. Leftovers, though. What do you got for leftovers?
I have some juicy leftovers. So I'm not even going to do them in any particular order.
Yeah.
Kevin's backpack, because it had Kay McAllister on it. But it just, it got a lot of screen time, and he used it a lot. It just didn't feel juicy enough for me.
I wrote that down with full expectation for me to pick it at the time when I saw it, because I was like, oh, he's got this. That's his bag. His whole movie, that's his bag. But I was like, no, there's other things popped up.
I didn't write it down, but I also wanted his outfit, because I genuinely remember the green and blue.
Yeah, that jacket and everything. Yeah.
That's the Home Alone outfit. I can vividly remember that without watching the movie. I almost wrote that down. The golden cash register at Dunkin's.
Oh, that thing was sick. No, that was awesome.
I loved it. It was like an old school classic cash register, but 24 karat gold for some reason.
That was awesome.
It.
Yeah. But again, it didn't outweigh what the other stuff, but it was definitely on my radar.
Out of nostalgia, I genuinely remembered the cash register, and I was torn. That was one of the pick. That almost was my third pick, because I remember that. And then number 8 was the chest of money for the children's hospital.
That would have been pretty cool to have a chest of fake money, which is pretty sweet. Uh,
that Marv broke into.
so I wrote down plane tickets, any one of them. Maybe Kevin's plane tickets. It's
The
again, it's a
Avis.
piece of paper, but yeah, it's a plane ticket. The leather backpack you mentioned, and then I wrote down Kevin's Polaroid Spectra.
I didn't write it. I forgot why, but I looked at it and I was like, "That's a good prop."
I have one of those. So I actually
Really?
have a Polaroid Spectra because I found it at Goodwill. Like I used to just like if every time I found a Polaroid camera at Goodwill, I would buy it. I'd be like, oh, these are sweet. If I didn't already have it, right? So at one point I had like 12.
Wow.
And I was like, what am I doing with these? So I think I wound up giving them to my brother-in-law because he was like into the photography, and now who knows where they are. But the Spectra is really cool because it pops up, like it folds down and then like it's pretty flat and it pops up. And he was using it in the film, but that was something that was on my radar, but wasn't there.
I'm surprised that the Spectra was there, but the 2 photos he takes of Harry and Marv breaking into Dunkin's.
I probably was going to ask for it. I was probably going to be greedy if I did have to go there, but the photos of them in the stores is pretty good too. Like I probably would have, if I asked for the camera, I would have been like, sir, it's the holidays. Please, can I have the photos that were taken with the camera? Which is also another question. Right before he started throwing the bricks off the building, why were they asking for the camera? It's not like it was a digital camera.
Yeah.
There wasn't film inside of it. He knew that it was a Polaroid. Why was he asking for the camera? I would have been like, sure, take the camera, go, leave. Why wouldn't you just give him the camera? You won right there. I don't know why they would have thought. Yeah, I don't know.
2 things that neither of us mentioned that I was doing like prop store research. The bricks that Kevin threw at them are actually on auction on some prop websites.
Yeah, they're like foam. They got to be like foam bricks. They're not real bricks.
I would hope so because
if he took real bricks in the face, that's impressive.
He would be dead. And the letter that Kevin wrote to Duncan is also online somewhere.
I remember that at the end, and I almost wrote it down, but I was like, no, I'm not picking it. Again, it's just another one of those things I'm not going to pick.
Why did they take the rope down from the roof and just not the stairs?
They probably didn't want to lose eyesight. You know what I mean? They probably should have split up. One stay, one go type deal. Like, you know what I mean? That's probably the best move, but they probably just didn't want to lose eyesight of the kid. You know, you go back inside, who knows where the kid's going to be whenever you come back downstairs. So not that I'm like a child murderer expertise. I'm just saying
it sounds like it.
I'm just saying, right? The logic there is I'm not going to take my eyes off of this little kid, which is that when I say that out loud, it's weird. That's weird.
All right. So that's our podcast. I'm going to go
I'm
call
just saying,
911.
Listen, all I'm saying is if I was trying to murder a 10-year-old, all right? Okay, wait, let's get out of here. Sorry, I just keep doubling down. No, let's get out of here. Let's enjoy the holiday season of what's left of it. And if you're listening, we obviously always appreciate you guys listening, and we're excited to come back next year, which is what we can say now. We'll see you guys next year. No, it's 2023 is going to be, obviously 2022 was amazing for us. We did a lot of awesome things, specifically just hanging out with the prop store, and we're trying to do a little more with them in the future. It was going to be pretty cool. But yeah, it's going to be a big year for, I think, both of us, personally and professionally. And it's going to be exciting. I'm excited. This has been fun. And I don't know why I'm talking like we're wrapping it up.
I mean, that was a full calendar year we just did.
That was it. Yeah, we did pretty good. That was solid.
That's kind of crazy.
And now we get to do it again. But this time, even bigger.
And this is where it's just montages. Like the end of 22 Jump Street. It's just montages.
Even bigger. And it's just every other movie that we do. All right. No, I like it.
We're just, for some reason, we're in a like police chase down the highway doing a podcast.
Which we did 22 Jump Street. That was earlier this year on 2/22/22. So just go back, play back our greatest hits. We'll be back in the beginning of January with some more bangers. And we made a promise on this podcast that at some point we're diving into Harry Potter. So that's at the very least a tease for maybe one. I don't know if we can hit them all in one calendar year. That might take every episode. But we will. I think we will be diving into the Harry Potter world, which is going to be pretty sweet. I bet you we'll be drafting a lot of sticks. Just a lot of twigs and sticks.
If at this point, after a year and a half, you don't think I'm a nerd now, Harry Potter is going to just completely out me. Like, it's going to be disgusting.
I'm excited for that.
Like,
it's going to be fun.
We might have to do something to where I'm not allowed to talk too much because that will like I could do 3 hours on each.
Don't worry, I'll just keep doing what I do and cutting you off by talking
All right,
over you.
perfect.
So hey,
All right,
just
good.
keep it. Just keep the status quo. Don't change anything up. But we'll see you guys next year. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great holiday.
Yes, have a great holiday. Love you guys. Thank you all for the support.
That's a firm love you. I'll say it
every
too, guys.
every holiday because like I did it this time last year too. Like I feel good around the holidays.
I love you.
That was
the
aggressive.
listeners. The listeners. Yeah, we've turned them away. They've already turned it off.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys.